Hey guys, what is going on? And welcome back to another episode of our Road to Glory career mode with St. Pauli. This is episode number 74, and today we have the final two games of the Bundesliga season, and of course these games are pretty much meaningless as we've already wrapped the title. We won it in mid-April, and we can no longer set or tie the points record, which is currently held by Bayern Munich right now. The closest we can get is to 2 points between us and what Bayern's record was, which was 91 a few years ago. If we win both of our games away at Stuttgart and at home to Borussia Mönchengladbach, but of course you still want to win them anyway. You know, you still want to win the final couple of games, and of course after our win in the last episode over Bayern Munich in the last game in the last episode, the 2-1 victory in the second leg of our Champions League semi-final tie, we are now into the Champions League final for the first time ever with St. Pauli. We're into the Deutsche Pokal final as well, so we want good confidence and to be going into those games in good form as we go into our final two games of the season. So these games are not really too important. We still want to win them regardless, and the first game was away at Stuttgart for our final away game of the Bundesliga season. I did decide to field a completely weakened side for the game, but I still felt very confident in getting the 3 points, and just 15 minutes in we would take the lead as well through Kai Havertz slotting the ball in after a heel-to-heel flick and making it 1-0 to the Buccaneers as he salutes the crowd to give us the lead. It was only his first goal in the Bundesliga all season long, and some of you guys have pointed out I haven't played Kai Havertz that much this season. I've mentioned it a couple of times. It's mainly due to the low stamina he's got. I've trained it a little bit, but for the most part it's still pretty low. He does feature off the bench every now and then and in some fringe games too, but for the most part Kai is a reserve player that doesn't get as minutes as he possibly should do. But in the 26th minute we made it 2-0, went 2 goals up in this game, and it was another first goal of the season and also a first goal for the club as well for our big 6'5" Croatian centre-back Kalica, who may be leaving next season, and he didn't want to leave until he scored his first goal for the club, and what a goal it was as well. This guy is 6'5", so you'd think if he's ever going to score a goal for the club it will come for a header. Instead it was a sensational half volley from 20 yards out after a corner was failed to be dealt with fully as Kalica smashed it in and made it 2-0. And I've said this a couple of times before now, but you know, when it comes down to positioning in the areas for set pieces, free kicks and corners in particular, I never understand why the players, some of the tallest players, are left back and not in the area. Kalica's 6'5". Why is he not in the area for that corner there? It's the tallest player on the pitch. It makes no sense. But it was still 2-0 regardless. Kalica getting his first goal for the club, Kai getting his first goal of the season as well, and we were playing completely in control in this game. Mane could have made it 3-0 just before the break, that shot going just wide of the post and behind for a goal kick, and then 6 minutes after the restart another good chance for the Buccaneers to go 3 goals up. Billing's shot was well saved by the Hungarian Galaxy, but he pushed it straight to Kai, who thought he'd scored his second goal of the game and the season. The bench was surprised to see the referee disallow it though, but it was the right call because Kai was standing in an offside position and he put the ball in well. Dudziak, our former defender, did get a touch on the ball but couldn't keep it out, but in the end it was chalked off, and rightfully so, as Kai was offside at the point of Billing's shot. So still 2-0 to the Buccaneers, but to be honest it didn't really matter. We were still only 2 goals up. We were in cruise control. Stuttgart never looked like getting back in the game, and with 90 minutes to go we did wrap the 3 points up and finally get that third goal that was forthcoming, and it came through Zlatan's regen, Eric Lundin, who is getting so much training, working on his finishing in the player training. I've improved it to a really respectable amount now as it's in the low 70s, and he showcases his good finishing stat there with a lovely little dink over the goalkeeper as he puts it into the back of the net. It just rolled over the line so slowly, but just about made it before the defender could clear off the line as he got his 5th goal of the season, and we won the game by 3 goals to 0. So final score at Mercedes-Benz Arena, Stuttgart 0, St. Pauli 3, and I thought this was really fitting as well, as there's a doppelganger for you, that this was our final away game of the season, because our first ever game of the series was away at the Mercedes-Benz Arena where we lost 2-1 in the Zweite Bundesliga series opener. Well, how things have changed over the course of 4 seasons. We now come away from home, take them on here, win the game comfortably by 3 goals to 0, should have scored more goals to be honest with you, and get a really convincing final away game of the season win by 3 goals to 0. So a great performance, a fantastic victory. Kalica man the match, and that was really bizarre as well. The first goal he scores for the club, and it's a lovely distance strike from range as we get a very easy 3-0 win. So 3-0 the final score. And as you can see the training here as well, Lundin's stat is now to a 77. Sorry, not early 70s, a 77 now. He's been getting the bulk of the training this season, as is Hao Gao, Poulsen, and now on Yakuru as well. I know some of you guys have been asking me to train different players and to work on the training feature a bit more, but I honestly, I seem to just set it up and just be satisfied with what I've got, you know, for the entire season. It's something I really should work on, and maybe next year, if I decide to do career mode again, I might even do some training myself, you know, do have to do the drills myself, as opposed to simulating them all the time. But as some of you guys have pointing out, I understand this, and I do accept it. I don't really pay that much attention to it, and I might briefly mention it as the season goes on, the series goes on, like I did a moment ago there. But for the most part, there's not actually that much thought that goes into my training. It's just set the 5 drills up as quickly as I can, simulate them as quick as I can, and that's good enough for me. And whatever happens, happens, and I'll just live with the results, basically. But again, next season, I really should look to try and utilize the feature a bit more and prioritize it better. But regardless, we did see that one of our players wanted to terminate his contract in the youth team. That was Robbe Lefebvre, I can't really pronounce that, the Belgian right back. And then he sent us another email the day after saying he wanted to terminate it again. And as you'll see, we got this email every single day for the next 5 in-game days. So I thought, you know what, forget this. Of course, the last time this happened, we saw one of our youth players terminate their contract, but of course we weren't aware of that due to the bug. So I thought this time I'm just going to offer all my youth players contracts, get them all in the first team now, just to make sure no one terminates their contract. It is absolutely ludicrous. It is FIFA 17, this bug's been in the game for ages now, and they still haven't got rid of it yet. You still have these stupid emails day after day after day for a youth player saying they want to terminate their contract, but of course it normally is for another player wanting to terminate their contract, but it says the same name as before. It's so irritating, man. Like, seriously, I don't understand why that hasn't been fixed yet, but we gave all of our players contracts anyway, just to make sure that unlike last time, we won't see a youth player terminate their contract without us knowing about it, and all those players should accept it, and as you'll see, they all do, and you'll see their stats in just a moment's time. None of them are 60 overall plus, which means we can't check out their potential, but at least we'll be able to see their full range of stats, their weak foot, their skill moves, their work rates as well. And you'll see the latest batch of new St. Pauli youth players in the first team straight after the second and final game of today's episode, which is at home to Borussia Mönchengladbach. And Mönchengladbach right now sitting in 12th place. Coming to the Milan tour, there'll be a return for Justin Bilo after we sold him in the January transfer window. So seeing Dudziak and Bilo in today's episode here, playing against their former teams. And it took on Borussia Mönchengladbach here, of course. The game meant basically nothing. We still wanted to win it, of course, and end on a high. We weren't really that fussed though. I just wanted to get through this game, lift that trophy, make sure Moses could lift the silverware, and make sure none of my players will get injured or suspended for that Deutsche Pokal final, and of course injured for the Champions League final to come in a few weeks' time against Monaco. But Mönchengladbach were here to spoil the party. They had nothing to play for in this game whatsoever. They couldn't do anything remaining in the season and qualify for Europe or anything like that, and they were totally safe. But they wanted to try and win this game. They had the first couple of chances. Dermot's shot there, going just wide, the post and behind for a goal kick. But on the stroke of the half-time marks, it was still 0-0, and we were doing absolutely nothing. We left it up to the captain to produce a moment of magic and score one of the goals of the season to open the scoring and finally put us in front as he comes and celebrates with me on the touchline, as do the players, as we go 1-0 up, 1 minute into stoppage time in the first half. And what a goal it was as well. I've mentioned it a few times this season in particular, and over the course of this series too. Moses Oja was signed to this club to be a ball-winning midfielder, but due to his work rate and due to his offensive game being expanded, he's become a brilliant box-to-box midfielder. There's also a long-range specialist. He scored a few really great strikes from range this season in particular, and this goal was absolutely excellent. What a strike with the outside that right boot from 25 yards out. Lundin gives him the ball with his back to goal, and Moses takes one touch, levers it, and his former teammate Justin Bilo has literally no chance. 1-0 to St. Pauli. Moses opens the scoring, puts us in front with his third goal of the season, and that really was a wonderful way to go in front in this game. And I was thinking, that's the final goal of the season. That is the one you want to see. A brilliant goal there as we take the lead just before the break. But in the second half, though, Mönchengladbach was still looking for an equalising goal, and they were playing so well in this game, and they definitely deserved the equalising goal they got as well. Joseph Dermich and Hoffman were in perfect sync down the right-hand side as they sliced us open and cut inside, and the finish was really composed as well into the back of the net by the number 23 as Mönchengladbach drew level, and deservedly so as well. They were playing really well in this game. They had a really high pass accuracy accuracy. I struggled to get the ball off them. They were dominating possession for the most part in the first half, and in the second half, just a few minutes after the restart, a lovely little couple of 1-2s there between Dervish and Hoffman, freed the number 23 as he smashed the ball in to make it 1-1. So Mönchengladbach back on level terms. With 26 minutes to go, I did decide to bring on Kala. Of course, in the last episode, you saw him get injured in the first game against our rivals Hamburg. I was worried that we wouldn't see him again for the entire series, but as we were closing out the game, he did get on the pitch for the final 25 minutes, although he didn't really do much, but it was his final appearance for the club before he retires come the end of the season. So it was good to see him on the pitch once more for the final time, and Mario Gomez too, who also came on for possibly the final time in the series, as he's also retiring come the end of the year. But the game did finish 1-1, and we do slip up in the final game of the season. So it's not back-to-back wins to end on. That's a bit of a shame, but at least we didn't lose, and we finished the season with 87 points and 61 goals, and that is still mightily impressive. So Moses Odja would lift the Bundesliga as we get ourselves our first ever league title in the series, should say top tier league title in the series. Moses lifting the silverware alongside Vilena as we can finally celebrate winning the Bundesliga. Last season, of course, we threw it away. We were in front for quite a while, then we lost to Bayern. Bayern overtook us and they never looked back. But this season, despite our loss to Bayern in match day 3, I think it was, after that we went on a crazy winning run where we just didn't slip up, and because of that we ran away with this really comfortably. And I thought this could be a really tight season, neck and neck between us and Bayern, but Bayern Munich this season domestically were really poor in the league, finishing in 6th place, which is crazy, and we just ran away with the title this year and thoroughly deserved it. 87 points from 34 games, 61 goals scored as well, and just 11 goals conceded. You'll see the final league table in just a moment's time. There are some seasons I do where we get quite lucky to make sure we win the silverware and only narrowly stumble across the line, but this was not one of those years. This was a season of dominance, pretty much from start to finish all season long, and we thoroughly deserved the crown. And it felt like a bit of an old school career mode season as well, where we really do dominate and no teams could get close to us this year, and that really was a fantastic achievement. So finally the Bundesliga is ours. We win it for the first time. Once again we get one of these youth player emails. These are so annoying, honestly. I mentioned it a few minutes ago, but again, how have EA not fixed this yet? It's absolutely ludicrous, man, seriously. But anyway, £37.8 million picked up as well for winning the Bundesliga. Absolutely delighted about that, and it should mean as well that our budget going into Season 5 should be increased. I'm hoping for at least £30 million to play with at the start, minus the pre-season tournament money as well, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But a final look at the league table regardless, as you can see, 28 wins from 34 games, 3 draws and 3 defeats, 61 goals scored, so the highest scorers in the division. For the 3rd time in 4 years, we've been the highest scorers in our division. We had 11 goals conceded as well, and a goal difference of plus 52, 87 points, 4 points behind the record that was set by Bayern a few years ago. What a fantastic dominant season. Poulsen won the Golden Boot with 18 goals as well, so great to see him get the Golden Boot after last season, missed out through injury mainly. Maya had the most assists in the league, but Charities finished in 2nd. Quite a few St. Pauli players were in the top assist chart, and in clean sheets as well, Bernd Leno picked that up with 22 and was no surprise the goalkeeper of the tournament. What a season for Leno, and what a decision to reject that big bid from Spurs in the January transfer window and keep him here. He really was key to our success this season, but surprisingly so, we only had 1 player in the team of the competition, and the player of the competition was won by Kevin Volland of Leverkusen. So Yusuf Poulsen was our only representative in the team of the season. I mean, talk about getting snubbed, man. Seriously, we had an amazing season this year. We were so dominant, yet only 1 player made it into the team of the season, and we didn't win the player of the season. That didn't go to Poulsen or Leno, which I would have expected. That was, I mean, that was shocking, to say the least. And I was very disappointed to know that only Poulsen made it into the team of the season. Are you serious? We had some unbelievable performances this year. How on earth did Leno not get into the team of the season? I don't know. But anyway, a look at our youth players then that have finally accepted contracts. So you can see Giles de Smet has got 5-star skills, high-low work rate as well, and a 3-star weak foot too. So you can see how our youth players look now, the new youth players in the team. Obviously, none of them are 60 overall plus. We can't check the potential, but all of these guys in the academy had low 80 potential ranges to begin with, and they ranged from the low 80s to the high 80s. So whilst none of these guys should have potential to be special, they should all have at the very least showing great potential, and I'd imagine at least half of them have an exciting prospect tag as well, which will be good to see in a few seasons time. We've been really using youth players quite a lot through this career so far as well. Obviously quite a few have been featuring, obviously the Rottweiler Rottweiler, El Toro, Colin Kadira too, Lundin now in the team. So these guys should definitely be getting some game time as the years go on. And Innocent Toro is the final one, but he's guilty of having a terrible week for rating with just 1 star. And there you go. So the final thing you'll see is me offering some contracts to players that have their deals that come to the end of the year. The most notable one, of course, is the Rottweiler. But all these guys are youth players, and they all look pretty decent. There's An Yan Zhang, there's Ho Hu, you guys have seen quite a bit this season. We got Newman as well, he's currently out on loan. Sheng as well, young right back too. So you offer all these guys contracts, they've all got some okay potential, and of course Rottweiler is the standout one there. Hopefully they'll accept those deals and they'll be convinced to stay, and we want to keep on using these youth players if we can throughout the series, as I must say we're seeing some decent youth players in this series right now, and it's good to see, good for the future as well. But that will end today's episode of our Road to Glory career mode as well, guys. So a big thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you did enjoy the first of the final 3 episodes of the season, then please do consider leaving a like. The next episode will be the Deutsche Pokal final as we take on Wolfsburg, searching for our 2nd piece of silverware this season and a domestic double for the first time in this series. So don't miss that one. It'll be coming out tomorrow afternoon. Thanks for watching this episode though. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you for the next episode, the penultimate one of the season, the Deutsche Pokal final versus Wolfsburg, very soon.